Okay, what is this? Gamers have lies have ruined our game! Okay, where's the lie? Let us see the lie.
Hey guys, hope you've been having a great weekend.
Hello,
and you remember
hello,
Concord,
femboy.
right? One of the biggest failures in gaming history. Yeah, that Concord. Well, the devs recently spoke out about...
Rauha! Dude, I can't... Why the colors don't match? Why are they ugly baby puke green? Why are her lips blue? Why does she have like a piercing across her nose? Her nose, she has a nose bridge piercing. In combat, that would be such a bad idea. It gets snagged. Like, this doesn't make any sense, even from like a fantasy perspective. You don't even have like studs in your, like, the thing. I don't want to get into it, man. I just don't want to get into it. It gets me so upset looking at like the design aspect.
Devs recently spoke out about what happened and stuff like the beta, the public reception. That's going to be fun to take a look at. The aftermath. And as you might expect, they are...
Ma'am, why do you have intestine tubes all over your body armor? Why do you have a fridge on your head? I don't know. I feel like I could do a better job. I'm not gonna lie.
Are still as out of touch as ever. A lot of them are trying to blame gamers and saying things like, people just didn't give us a chance. And so these statements come from devs that were on the Time Well Wasted podcast, I think it's called, where they had some of these devs on. Of course, they spoke about this stuff. So now we've got some quotes that have been compiled over on Reset Era, and I also got some quotes from the YouTube channel Mystic. So let's start with this quote, where one of the devs says, "The audience our publisher was catering to did not want this game at all from the get-go. The game was labeled as uncool." And then they lament how people just didn't give the game a chance, saying stuff like, yeah, but you haven't even looked into it. You haven't even played it.
Bro, it has been... When did this game die? When did Concord shut down? September 6, 2024. It has been a year and 1 month exactly. It has been a year and 1 month and they just won't shut up about it. It was up for 2 weeks. No, but I'm saying, when did it shut down? It's been a year, man.
It's like, yeah,
Good
like, why would
Lord!
anyone want to play this modern audience garbage? Seems like they're also trying to put all or a lot of the blame on the publisher, and I just don't buy that, because they say, like, the publisher forced us to make a game catering to this group of people, which seems to be implied to be about the modern audience, because the game itself was clearly catering to the modern audience. And the reason I don't fully buy that this was like only the publishers, because we've already seen that a number of the devs that worked on Concord from Firewalk Studios, the game dev company.
We've also heard from people that worked at Firewalk Studios saying that if you had an opinion or a criticism on game design, you had issues with a game and the direction that you're going into, people would get mad at you. We saw the interview. I remember it too very clearly. There was a person that said, yeah, I used to work at Sony working on Concord, and they said that they didn't like negativity, and negativity perceived was just criticism of... Whoa. Kitty, I know I'm passionate about this, but like, did you guys hear that? Damn, you had a lot to say. Anyway. Yes, hi Kitty. Hi Kitty. Did you guys hear that? Sorry, I guess he's pissed about Concord too. But as I was saying, toxic positivity absolutely does not exist in a vacuum. I think it's an actually very pervasive problem outside of just one studio. Final Fantasy is absolutely a victim to that inside of the community and in the game dev part.
Well, a lot of these devs were a part of the modern audience, or I should say are a part of the modern audience. So they probably loved Concord, but now they're enacting this damage control like a year later because they don't want this like blank spot on their resume or whatever. Like, let's try and kind of rewrite history, try to save some face here. We can see more of that in this quote where one of the devs says, "I mean, it's certainly unpleasant. It was incredibly frustrating that we didn't do any counter programming. You know, that started immediately after the reveal of the game. And then it was just total radio silence. So a lot of false narratives around the game got built, and it was outside of our control.
False narratives. People saw the game. We watched Fleekazoid play it. It ran like shit, and the gameplay was dog shit. Why? Like, design characters aside, what are we doing?
Narratives, really? No, dude. People talked about the factual stuff that was going on in Concord. No one needed to, like, make up a false narrative. The game was awful for a lot of reasons that have been greatly discussed.
It ruined his
Here's
OBS.
What they say about the beta. We were excited locally in the studio, but the public had no idea what it was at first. I thought people were just harsh during the reveal trailer. I was like, you know what? There's things we need to work on, but it's okay.
Can I also just bring up the fact that they were planning to release massive studio animations, multiple episodes of those big trailers that looked like AAA, giga budget, expensive animations for cinematics. And that flopped so hard because people didn't even like the game itself. They actually, unironically, spend probably more money on the cinematic than the game itself. Or the cinematics that they had planned.
Once people touch the game,
cinematic
it's going
week.
to change things.
Blizzard doesn't release massive cinematics like that. Like, that's the quality that they're talking about. No, like, they don't release that kind of shit for World of Warcraft, which is like a big hype thing. It's like everybody's waiting for that thing to happen. That costs millions and millions of dollars to make.
And then the beta numbers dropped.
And they're doing like once a week? Like, what?
Expecting. And I think our mindset started shifting to things could go really bad. Dude, if I recall, the beta had a peak player count around 1,400? I think. I'm going off memory. I'm going to check
that. But that doesn't count other consoles. But let's even be really nice and assume that it's 5 times the number, and then there's Xbox and Sony, which I'm pretty sure also had beta tests. How many people played the Overwatch beta? I played the Overwatch beta. It was really pog. 9.7 million players played the Overwatch open beta. That's insane. Yeah, that's the beta, by the way, not the game itself. Overwatch launch was crazy. I played that. That was really fun.
Okay, so it was actually 2388, almost 2400. Which is obviously...
Let's even be really nice. 10 times that amount across Sony and PlayStation. That's not even fucking close.
Still beyond terrible.
That's
the devs
terrible.
continue talking about the beta, saying it made news for how poorly the beta did. Like, people would go out to news sites to, hear about our game and how negatively it was doing, instead of, hearing what the game was about. People heard about our game because of how poorly it did. But people didn't hear about what the game was, or even really tried. There was no shortage of news articles and YouTube videos and hate on the internet about how poor the numbers were. So
these people are just obsessed with clout. But no, you know what? Never mind. I take that back, because their livelihood depends on how well the game does. If you're a streamer, I was gonna liken it to maybe streamers crying about numbers and saying oh, well, nobody watches me. And it's well, are you in it for the love of the game, or are you in it to get money and get clout? I wouldn't even argue that, because it's different with streamers. I don't get it. Jesus. Okay, I'm fine. I'll read your thing. These useless retards still don't get it. Your customers see your massive company blowing years of work on hundreds of millions of dollars on something they don't want, and they expect us to pay money for. Yes, we do want it to fail. Because people stand to learn a lot from failure than success. Whether they do learn anything is another question entirely, but for us, at least, failure opens up the possibility of course correction. Yeah, and you're allowed to make mistakes and know, too. If I make a mistake, I would rather someone tell me than, being oh my god, Alana, you're perfect. You can't make any mistakes ever. That's not how you grow as an entertainer, or say a game dev or something, right? Palworld had 2 failure of a game two failures of a game before they made Palworld. Did you guys know that? I didn't. They made two dog shit games and then they made Palworld and now they're getting sued. But that's besides the point. They're still a massive success.
It was pretty apparent. You gotta be kidding me. They're really trying to say that people didn't really know what the game was. Yeah, we did. What the frick?
What the frick?
The cope is just
what
crazy.
The frick?
From there, they talk about the
froke?
reception. The most frustrating part about it to me was people had made up their mind about the game, and I felt like it was based off, I mean, this is more our fault than theirs, but we did a bad job of communicating what we were trying to do, and I felt like there was such a disconnect. Like, if I could sit down with any individual that said something bad about the game and plead our case, I could convince them 100% to be on.
No, I saw the gameplay. I don't think it looked fun. These people live on a different planet. I swear to God. Oh, these people live on a crazy fantasy planet where it's like, just play the game. Gun to head. Yeah, just play our game. It's going to be awesome.
Bored with the game. It's just, we did a terrible job of appealing to the massive gamers, and it didn't.
Even if you release the hero shooter, if you release this hero shooter at the peak of the hero shooter genre, I think it would have flopped because Overwatch and fucking Team Fortress 2 already had that cornered. Like, what are we really talking about here, man?
Go too well. I guess I'll give this statement a little bit of credit for having like a tiny shred of accountability, at least compared to the other stuff that these devs were saying. But this is still very delusional because Bro is really trying to make it sound like the only issue with Concord was the communication. Like, we just didn't explain this well enough. No, dude, there were a lot of problems with the game, as I mentioned a moment ago. I'm just not going to list all the problems with the game because, like, we've covered that extensively, and so many people have done a great job covering that extensively already and talking about that stuff, so it seems far too redundant to just repeat all of that here. I'm sure everyone watching this video probably knows the numerous issues with Concord, so let's just keep going to the next statement, and this one returns to the very whiny style that we've been seeing. It's just weird that there is this audience who's just constantly wanting to be excited that something fails. But the reality behind it is, we're just looking at our keyboards and then we're like, oh, no job today. There's like a schadenfreude of, I don't think I said that right, whatever. Oh, big game fails. And like, that's awesome. We got to see something.
I don't want big game fails because that means I can't have fun playing a game. I want games to be good. I hate it when, for example, World of Warcraft releases an expansion and it sucks cock. It's not good for, like, gamers. I want to have fun. If you fail, then it's like, you freaking deserve it. Like, what are we talking about?
Crash and burn. And, like, that's kind of great. That's really cool. And to be a part of that process, it's really easy to bandwagon on that. Like, well, we're punching up. And not really take into consideration that, like, well, you're punching up at that, but then all these people that work really hard on it are not those people. Well, just because people worked on the game, obviously, doesn't mean that they're free from criticism. Like, if you make a bad product, people are allowed to talk about that. And that doesn't mean they're limited to only talking about the product itself. People are allowed to talk about the team that developed said product and ways that they could have done better and things that they did wrong.
Sure.
Here's what the devs have to say about working at Firewalk. I know I felt like I would run into battle and die for the company that day.
Jesus, man, what? Yo, the corpos do not care that much. No, oh, come on. Look, I understand what you're trying to say, but, like, the company doesn't really care about you that much. Jeez. After all, Firewalk is a subsidiary of Sony. They don't... You really think that Sony would do the same for you? That's why when you got fired, you probably lost your mind.
I was ecstatic when the teaser was
revealed. You're being a bit of a victim, huh?
I miss it immensely. All this interviewing and talking to other companies, I want to bring my whole old team there. They always ask me, why did I like working at the studio so much? And it was like, I really just enjoyed the team, the people. That's what I miss. People were kind to each other. If someone had a bad day, people would be super supportive and be like, go ahead, take the time. If you're not feeling good, just go home.
I think this is a double-edged sword. I think that at the end of the day, you still have a job to do. I understand if, like, your dog died and you need to go home for a day, but if, like, I don't know, your head hurts, like, I don't know, man, take some Tylenol, be autistic like the rest of us, and just suck it up, you know? These people, you know what's funny? These people have never actually had, like, a proper corporate job, so they don't know what the actual worst-case scenario is of where... like, your grandpa died, and then they tell you that you can't have, like, a day off because you're, like actually grieving. And as opposed to these people that are like, oh my god, my tummy hurts. Like, I'm on my period and my tummy hurts just a little bit, and I just don't want to work. It's like, oh my god, shut up. Like, I understand if you're in, like, debilitating, crippling pain, but, like, fuck me. It's like, your tummy hurts. It's okay. Just do the fucking job. Fuck.
This is the first studio where I felt equal and treated right. Not only is everyone super talented, but also everyone was respectful and nice. It's a green flag when I can go into the women's bathroom and it's not only filled with feminine hygiene products, but also there's women there.
Wait, what? I'm so confused. What? Wait! Are they... What do they mean by this? Wait a minute! It's they, them? Is that why they're Okay, like, gender politics aside, hold on. Why does this matter to you so much? I've never once in my entire life worked at a job where I'm like, fellow women in my bathroom. Like, what the fuck? Why are you thinking about that? You work at a game dev studio. Okay, you go to the toilet and take a fat shit in there and then, wipe your ass. Like, what? Why are you thinking about this in your day-to-day? And you're still thinking about it a year later after you got fired or laid off? What? Are we okay? Have we lost the plot? I guess that they mean that the company hires a lot of women? Who the fuck cares? I'm sorry, maybe I'm weird, but I feel like that is such a non-issue. I've worked jobs where it's like mostly men or mostly women. I don't fucking care. Oh my god.
Like, oh, I have to share a bathroom with other women
This
now?
is why nothing ever got fucking done at that studio, and it took 5 years to make the fucking game, because the game devs are fucking worried about other women being in the bathroom as opposed to making fucking video games. Are we fucking for real right now?
Like, whoa, that's
I'm sorry, I cussed a lot, but like, holy shit, I'm having an aneurysm.
You know what's really funny is how shortly after Concord released, and
this guy right there, right there, this is the guy. This is the guy.
During the news cycle of its massive failure.
This is it.
There were some people coming out saying that the Concord devs, Firewalk overall, that they have this culture of toxic positivity. Some sources I've spoken with blamed a head-in-the-sand mentality carried over from the studio's Bungie roots.
Yes.
A sense the game would come together because the team was too good to fail. It seems like we're seeing more of that attitude displayed in the statement that we just read.
I know a lot about World of Warcraft, and I apologize for knowing a lot about World of Warcraft, but when the game was being done, they would play a lot of games that weren't World of Warcraft to try and make the game as good as possible. They would criticize the game. They would constantly check the systems. They would constantly criticize each other. Those people working at Blizzard at the time in 2004, they wanted what was best. They didn't want some half-assed like product that they just put up because, we're just the best. They were very critical of their own game, even though it became a massive success. They wanted what was best for the game because they wanted to play the game. These people, they just think they're the best and they take no criticism. And now this toxic positivity culture is coming out and they're like, yeah, this was a thing. We care about what girls are, what women are doing in the bathroom as opposed to making good games. I'm sorry, I'm just so hung up on this like bathroom fucking thing. It's just crazy to me.
Got one last statement to take a look at here, and it's pretty funny. Something else funny too is how the user on Reset Era that posted these quotes went on to say about all of this. From all public accounts, it sounds like Firewalk was an incredible studio to work at, full of highly talented people, but marketing and management completely screwed it over.
Yeah, not to mention the bad gameplay and poorly optimized video game after 5 years of development. But you know, that's neither here nor there. That's the marketing team's problem. No, it's the marketing team's fault.
This team absolutely did not deserve to be treated the way they were. I really hope people listen
Just
to
like
it.
blah, blah,
One
blah,
last
blah,
quote
blah,
that I
blah,
loved
blah.
hearing, as it shows how passionate this team was about the game they made. You
Oh,
can see
Jesus
that quote right
Christ.
here. Travis from the art team responding to Ashley, who says, "Do you want people to know you worked on it?" And Travis says, "Yeah, and I want them to be surprised when I'm happy about it. That's what I want. We were proud, regardless of how it went. We put out a good game."
If I was in charge of hiring people, if I heard that coming from a person that had a failed game, I would immediately not take them. If you took any other, like, business, say a restaurant, and you had a failed restaurant, like it just completely went under, it didn't just get sold, you are in debt, you got fired or laid off, I would take that as a massive red flag. Like, I'm not gonna hire you. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. Like, you would at least admit to it sucking or something. Like, oh, the management was really bad and, like, I was overworked or something. Like, I would at least make up, you know, you'd make up for that by having, you know, a reasonable criticism of the place that you worked at. Not like, oh, we did nothing wrong, la 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 la, everyone else is the fault, la 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 la. It's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Why would you do that? You're shooting yourself in the foot for your next job. They're huffing their own farts? Yes, for lack of a better word, yes.
I mean, this is truly astonishing. From the dev trying to act like they put out a good game here. Just not even acting like it. Saying that they put out a good game, which is just a crazy take and shows that these people have no accountability and they just don't seem like they'll ever grow as people. To the Reset Era user who's actually like buying into this nonsense and acting like, yeah, these people are so talented. They're so hardworking and talented. And they're trying to put all the blame on like marketing and management. What a freaking joke. No accountability from any of these
exactly.
people. And this is to be expected from all of these modern audience types. Just very, very typical. Something funny though is one of the comments on the first page of that thread says, "When you mess things up and blame marketing and management teams." And that person actually got a warning from the moderators. Probably one of the only comments in that entire thread that's actually talking sense, and the mods warned them. Of course, you know, that is also typical. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed
It reminds me of the people defending me on Reddit saying, when the people started saying I'm a Nazi white supremacist, and then there's just people trying to defend me, and then the mods deleting the posts. I don't know what to say. I feel like there's a bit of a bias or something, right? Like, unironically. Kind of scary, by the way. Spreading misinformation.
coverage. I had fun making this video, despite how pathetic these statements were.
Kind of weird.
It was certainly amusing and funny to take a look at. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed. Consider sharing your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in.
Great video, hero. Hey, I don't know why I said hero. Hey, here, hey, 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 hey. So this now. Ah, what a great video. Very funny. I don't know. Cope and seethe. Make a good game, and then you'll prove the gamers wrong. Yeah, make a good game. I don't know. Make a good game. Hopefully Ethan Klein takes down Reddit. I don't know. Reddit costs. I don't know. Reddit is. How much is Reddit worth? How much is Reddit worth? $3.85 billion. I don't think Ethan Klein has that much money to take them down. So, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I think it'll be a big deal, but we'll see.